This new study debunks everything we knew about life on Mars. Years have passed since the first rover landed on Mars, and we were hoping to find life, just like Earth, on Mars as well, because it would have revolutionized the world of science and technology. But the recent study is rather disappointing, because it does not support the decades-long claims of people who believed that there is or was life on Mars. But how, after all these years, scientists have made such a big claim and have negated all theories of life on Mars? Well, you'll know more about it soon. But before we begin though, please subscribe to Futurephile to watch more fascinating videos on space. A recent study unveiled that what scientists believed to be proof of life was nothing but a chemical reaction. They were completely relying on a meteorite that was over 1 billion years old and was hopeful that they could find some trace of life that could prove that Mars is not a barren land. The 4-pound meteorite was discovered in 1984 in Antarctica, and it took the world by storm because everyone believed that this rock was all they needed to prove that there was life on Mars. So the scientists started working and experimenting on the rock. NASA was very hopeful too, and in 1996, NASA itself announced that they had found particles on the rock that are believed to be traces of living organisms. Everyone was skeptical about it, especially astrophysicists and biologists who wanted to know more about these living organisms in outer space. The research on this rock continued for quite a long time, and decades have passed, but there was no apparent or final announcement by NASA with reference to the meteorite they found. But they did inform everyone that they had found compounds on the rock that is rich in carbon. From this rock, scientists found out that Mars had water in the past, and it is evident that a watery planet is bound to have life in one way or the other. And this encouraged everyone to believe that Mars was a planet of living creatures, and they were on the verge of a big scientific break. But no one really expected what happened next, because decades of research went in vain, and scientists became disappointed after a study was published in a scientific journal by a group of scientists led by Andrew Steele. This study negates all the previous claims of scientists about life on Mars. The group of scientists have made it clear in their study that the compounds rich in carbon that are found on the surface of Martian rock are no traces of living organisms, but a result of its constant interaction with water. We already know that it was proved earlier that Mars had abundant water, which supports this new theory. According to the team of Steele, the water entered into crevices of the meteorite while the rock was still on the surface of Mars, and soon it came blasting off to the Earth after there was some sort of impact on the Martian surface. This theory makes a lot of sense because all the odds are supporting it, and it is based on the facts that we already know. So, Andrew Steele's team is not making a castle in the air, but telling us what they believe happened by using scientific facts and figures. When Steele was emailing his new findings to the press, he has deliberately called them huge, which is very true because his team has literally nullified all the work that other scientists have done on life on Mars. And now all we are left with is a big question mark. What scientists believed to be a big break and what they thought would be a way of finding life on Mars literally became proof that there is no life on Mars. Otherwise, there certainly would have been a few traces of life on a rock that stayed on the planet for billions of years. The team who was doing research on the meteorite in 1996 and considered it a very promising breakthrough have also come forward and said that this theory is very disappointing. And there is nothing wrong with accepting that a new theory has made all the previous studies pretty much useless about life on Mars. Some people are not very happy with this study and are considering it mere speculation or an argument that is not supported by facts, and they should be allowed to get mad because a group of scientists has suddenly changed our whole perspective of Mars. Now scientists are dwelling on the notion that it is a huge possibility that there never was life on Mars, which, before this study, never happened. And most scientists always believed that there was life on the red planet billions of years ago. So this study is basically a huge breakthrough in the scientific world. Steele and his team have also come forward and given another statement that says that the earlier researchers were reasonably interpreting the reason for carbon-rich compounds because there was not a lot of information or resources back then. The team also added that if they really want to confirm whether there is life on the planet or not, they should study the samples that rovers have collected from Mars, and it might take some time, but they'll certainly know what the truth is about life on the red planet. The 1996 researchers have reacted to these findings in a rather grumpy way, and they have also added that according to them, this new study is not convincing, and they still stand by their original theory that these carbon-rich components are the traces of life on Mars. Well, not a good time to be stubborn. But the scientists further added that the new study is not supported by deep analysis, and the interpretation is also more of a hunch, and there is nothing novel or intellectual in it. These words sound rather harsh, but the earlier scientists are doing everything they could to convince people that their original original study was correct. They have also added that this hypothesis is not supported by any facts, which is going to increase the conundrum, and there already are so many theories about the origin of life and life on Mars, while this theory is just overcrowding the space. Steele very responsibly stood by this new study and said that his team consists of really respectable scientists from NASA, Britain, and Germany who have taken care of facts and figures, and they haven't published this study without proper research. He also said that this study was not meant to negate the previous studies, and their purpose was never to demean the 1996 study on the meteorite, but they were just on the quest of finding some new and thrilling information about life on Mars. Andrew believes that we should be looking for life somewhere else now, like on the moons of Saturn or Jupiter, or in those lands of Mars that remain untouched, because only then can we know more about life. But as far as a meteorite is concerned, it does not give any proof of life at all. Steele also initiated this conversation, that why the samples collected by the Mars rover are not sent to Earth yet. If only those 3 samples collected by the rover are sent on Earth, we could start studying them right away and could find some promising information about life on Mars. This new study on the meteorite has changed the complete perspective of how we saw Mars and has nullified all the studies done earlier on the ancient life on the red planet. This study is good and bad news at the same time. Good because it is telling us a lot about the atmosphere of Mars, and bad because we were really rooting for finding some traces of life on the planet. The unique thing was that in this study, we also found that if we put a rock in water for billions of years, it will also develop the same pockets of carbon in the cracks even on planet Earth. This discovery helped the scientists understand how and why methane is present in the atmosphere of Mars. So this new study is not only helping to debunk the decades-old concepts of what exactly is happening with life on Mars, but it is also helping with understanding the atmosphere and environment of Mars until the rovers finally bring us some solid information. So, do you think there is life on Mars? Or are you on the same team as Andrew Steele? Tell us in the comments section. And if you like this video, you may also enjoy this next video that is shown in the end screen. See you there.